Hello, we are back again with yet another relevant topic, that is childhood obesity. We know that obesity in general is on a rise if we take a cross section of a society, but childhood obesity is going to alarming proportions. And we know that earlier we were worried about malnutrition and undernutrition of children, but now we are concerned about childhood obesity. So, why has this shift happened? There's a dramatic change that has happened in the socio-cultural scenario. We know that there is abundance of food, and that too very calorie rich food, and children are left with no time for any physical activity or games or sports or playing. We know that children have to travel long distances to reach school. So it takes away a lot of time from them. There's a long travel in the morning, and then there is a long travel in the evening. There are long school hours. Once they come back from school, there is plenty of homework. Then there is some screen time which children are addicted to. So all this leaves them no time for any physical activity. And plus, in certain urban areas, there are no facilities for a physical activity. There are no playgrounds nearby, or it may not be safe for children to cycle. So all this poses a serious threat to the health of children. And if we take a cross section of a classroom, we see that nearly 15 to 20% of children are obese. If we take an urban classroom, maybe it's more, and rural slightly less, but more or less the proportion is the same. So these are some shifts in the socio-cultural pattern that has happened over a very short span of time, and we were not equipped to take up that challenge. Now let us look at the dietary habits. We know that children are fed, they are force fed, they are overfed, and on top of that there is an abundance, there is a variety of all the calorie rich foods which are there in various tempting shapes and sizes and fragrances. So children are naturally, they are very tempted to try these every day. If we take a medium sized burger with a soft drink, it comes to around 1000 calories or more. We know that calories is the measure by which we measure the energy intake. And for an average boy of below 14, the calorie intake has to be around 2800 kilocalories. For a girl, it has to be 2300 kilocalories. If we take this absolutely no nutrition junk food, we can see that it takes away the half the requirement, half the day's requirement of calories with no nutrition at all. So this is what junk food does to children. And on top of that, the family or the parents, they insist on them taking 3 meals, and there are these mid meal snacks which children cannot resist. So all this creates a calorie excess. This calorie excess is stored in the form of adiposity, and that too visceral or internal adiposity. This is a dysmetabolic, or something that impairs the normal metabolism of the body. This metabolic fat is the reason for future diabetes, future high blood pressure, future cardiac disease, future liver disease, etc. So this abundance of food and lack of physical activities, we are driving children to be sick earlier than what used to happen. Like we used to see type 2 diabetes in 40s and 50s. Now we see that a decade or two earlier. Similar is the case, adolescent hypertension is on a rise. There are heart attacks and strokes that are happening in very individuals to the tune of 30s. So this is an alarming situation. Same is the case with liver disease. So these are the areas that we really need to look into, and the changes have to be made right from when the child starts eating. After the breastfeeding stops, The child has to get good habits, and of course that has to start from home. So the whole house or the parents themselves have to modify the way they eat and the way they look at food in general. So once in a while, going on to junk food or high calorie food and sweets, etc., it's unavoidable. There are a lot of social events, especially in India. We cannot avoid these things. But by and large, stick to home food, which is nutritious, which is rich in fiber, and which is balanced. So there is a rule of 5-2-1-0 that we always emphasize for children. That is 5 helpings of fruits, vegetables, etc. That is 5 helpings of fiber rich food per day. 2, that is less than 2 hours of screen time, be it computer or TV or mobile. It should be less than 2 hours per day. 1, that is at least 1 hour of play or 1 hour of physical activity for every child, and 0 is say no to sugary drinks. So this is a principle I think we should drive into children, and schools, more than academics or along with academics, they should also emphasize in and encourage children to go on to a healthier lifestyle and give more room for physical activity, leave more room for making them active, physically active. So otherwise we are going to have a generation of sick young individuals. They would be young, but they would be sick, and the society will be burdened with a lot of young people who are not healthy. So let us, with a final slogan that is very popular and that has almost become viral, that is, drop the candy and hold the carrot. So children, it is a request, or it is a challenge to you to go on to a healthier lifestyle and make yourselves fit. Thank you.